Hello and very warm welcome to Dr. Zia Ahmed YouTube channel. Dear students, we shall be talking today on the novel Beloved as a New Slave Narrative. That's an interesting topic, Toni Morrison's novel Beloved, and it gives us an impression of new slave narratives. So with this angle, let's enter into the novel and see what we can do with it. First of all, we need to see what is a new slave narrative. We see that it is going to be a kind of reworking of the novels which used to be written on slave kind of manifesto, where the different people tried and said that it cannot be just simply a narrative, but it will tell about the tales of the slaves. But along with that, right now slavery has finished, and the physical narratives of slavery and escape from slavery, that all has finished, but the trauma still exists. The memory still exists. Because of that, when somebody talks about slavery in this trauma sense and memory sense and reworks on that, it can be called new slave narrative. It's also new because it's a non-linear narration, because in the past narratives we did not have a linear story, we didn't have non-linear stories. Most of these were the linear stories, and then the writer has taken up some kind of aesthetic autonomy to describe all that, so therefore it's going to be a new slave narrative. Let's have a little comparison about the new slave narrative to make it a better understanding. In the traditional narratives of slavery, we had two dominant aspects, and one was the escape, and other was the literacy. That means how people could escape that slavery thing and how they could finish the slave ship from their lives, and this was to be taught, to be given, to be understood by the people also. While in the new slave narratives we have the aftermaths of that whole thing which happened in USA and at many other places of the world, and the trauma discussion associated with that. And this freedom which the people have won because of the end of slavery, this freedom can be questioned also in the new slave narratives, because it is the question is to be asked, is it really a freedom or it is some kind of else slavery? So that is why more and more psychological focus will be developed in such new slave narratives, because this narrative is coming from the memory, and the trauma also exists in the memory of the people or the forefathers of the people who lived under slavery. So that is why their psychology, their thinking, their understanding, their memory is to be discussed in such new slave narratives. When we look at Beloved novel with this angle, we can see that the very first sentence is 124 was spiteful, full of a baby's venom. 124 is the house, is the building where the protagonist and the family resides for most of the time, and that she says is full of baby's venom. Here 124, if you look at 124, if you make 1 plus 1 it becomes 2, and then 2 plus 2 it becomes 4. So it means that the thing which is going to be described, it is vast spread, it spreads from one person to the other, and being a collective community of slaves formerly, all these things come together and they make up the total equal to the whole community's loss, and that is full of baby's venom. Now, what is baby? It is definitely beloved. Literally speaking, the novel tells the story of this baby, but it is actually the story of everyone who has lived under such a condition. And that condition is not normal, it is venomous. And that is why here slavery comes back in the lives of those people who have been formerly slaves or their forefathers were formerly slave. It has come back to them and haunting it in the same way as the ghost of baby haunts the whole of the novel. In the same way the memory of those people is haunted. So therefore one can say that what happened in the past time is now being introduced into the present time. So slavery, though physically finished, but mentally it is present, psychologically it is present, traumatically it is present. So this is the idea because of which it becomes a new narrative of slavery. The action taken by Sith was the infanticide action. Killing one's own baby is definitely very, very difficult, and this she tries to put when the novelist is writing the novel, she tries to put under the theories given by Margaret Garner, According to that, it was, I took and put my babies where they would be safe. That means to save the babies or to save anything precious that should not come in the hands of the people. Instead, even the burial, even the killing can take place. So, in this way, a type of maternal resistance has been shown through this action. Although there is a big dilemma as well, ethical dilemma, should the woman should do this kind of thing with her own child or she should not, but still it is a kind of way through which one poses the resistance to the norms of slavery, but also one is able to keep safe also the future, the present, the past of the life of the mother which she suffered herself. Now it is her attempt to save her child from this kind of suffering. Though it's not right, of course, but it is still the only way left open. And that is why this is the blame also. This is the kind of quality of resistance also on the part of Seth. Actually, the writer has tried to play re-memory of the memory. Past is not past according to her. When it continues to haunt the memories of the people who underwent any kind of trauma, that continues to haunt them. So, therefore, in the present lives also it continues to come. So, that is why it no more remains a simple past. It is something which just stays. That trauma stays on until it is healed up, and the healing of such a trauma is definitely not that possible. And also, when you heal it up at the individual level, it may keep on surviving at the collective level. And if it is held up, it is healed up at the collective level, it may not be healed up in the individual level. So somehow it keeps on existing. And sometimes this keeps on existing in the archives also. Now, where are the archives? These archives of trauma definitely need to exist in the mind only, in the brain only, in the thinking only, in the memory only. But in case of many situations, we have the archives. Like the novel of Kamila Shamsi, Burnt Shadows, if we look at the protagonist of that novel, Hiroko, we have a shape built on her body, and that shape is the continuous reminder of the suffering of the people in Japan when the atomic bombs were thrown on them. In the same way, here Sith's scar is there on her body, on her back, and that scar is like the chokecherry tree. That scar keeps on reminding her. So, the archive is built of the same slavery memory in the back, on the back of this protagonist, and that is something which says to her continuously or to the people continuously why it has happened. Same is the case with the tobacco tin, which Paul D is carrying all the time with himself. He's got tobacco in it, and he says that this tobacco tin is full of tobacco, maybe, but it's also filled up with these slave memories also. So, in this way, these archives, the tobacco tin of Paul D, the scar at the back of Sith, it is the embodiment of the history. How the people had lived history, how history has been imposed upon them, and how that pain has been inscribed on the flesh or bodies or the things of these people. And so, if we keep on delving deep into the novel, we can see that it's a new narrative of slavery, also in the sense that different fragmentary techniques have been used in this novel. That narration is not in one way, it's linear, it's not linear at all, it's going to be non-linear description of the story. And then there are the multiple voices, that the story is not told by just one person. Number of people tell this story, 6 to 7 people tell the story, and that is why it adopts the shape of stream of consciousness, following the techniques of Virginia Woolf. For example, the story is told from the perspective of memory. Whatever comes in the memory, what is triggered in the memory, and what is painful in the memory, that is repeated again and again through different ways, through different tongues. It becomes multiple voices also, that the person, whatever type of language that person would be using, maybe male, female, or maybe old or young, the similar kind of voice has been used by the writer in the story. It is also the reminder of the oral traditions, that everybody would sit together and they would tell the stories. One person would say its own story, the other person would say the same story, but with a different angle, and sometimes only thematic connectivity is there. So it's also reflective of the oral tradition or given by the African people. So in this way, this is a new narrative. It's a kind of narrative technique with which new slavery system has been narrated. And beloved is the haunting history. If we see that in the novel, the beloved is a ghost. It may be not physically a ghost, but it's a memory. And that memory which is not resolved in the past. So this can be understood in a very easy way by thinking that certain happenings take place with us, and those happenings, though we forget or we say that we have forgotten, but they keep on existing in our mind. Sometimes these haunting memories in our mind come in our thought, that's right, but sometimes they come in physical shape also before us. When we look at any event, any incident, we keep on thinking what has happened and how it's going to be. And if the resolution does not take place, I mean, the healing process does not take place, it keeps on haunting us in our dreams also, in our daily lives also, and that is why it becomes a kind of haunting history. And besides that, sometime our sufferings become the place or the thing that we need to remember ourselves, remind ourselves again and again, so that the sufferings may not die, so that we may be able to tell the world that happened, so that whole the world should know that such acts should not be repeated. So in this way, the novel Beloved becomes a haunting history in the history of African Americans and their lives in USA. However, if there is a kind of community healing that can process whole of trauma and its pain in a very easy way, but most of the time it doesn't happen. At isolated formations, that healing will not take place, and sometime at community level it will not take place. However, women, when they sit together, they share their stories and they try to heal up themselves in such a way as if they are talking about the collective exorcism. In this case, in the novel, two things happen. Number one is Baby Sug's speech or sermon, which he delivers. That is a kind of ventilation. That is a kind of catharsis of the trauma with which Sith suffers from. And so it's a kind of healing process. It's a kind of community involvement. And therefore, the love of a person becomes a type of resistance with such things that if you love a memory, if you love the trauma or the trauma that exists in your mind, you cannot come out of that. If you love the people around you, they are also suffering the same way. If they are sharing their memories with each other, it's a possibility. So the novel Beloved is a kind of attempt of sharing of the trauma and loss with the other members of the community, rather with the whole world. It's an effort to heal up that trauma and the pain of that trauma. The philosophical speaking can also be worked on that. There is one trauma theory, and it says that with the help of time, it's a possibility that it will grow into a larger circle, larger cycle. It will become phenomenological with the help of time. And we need to remember those things as well. And sometimes we witness these very things around us, and it becomes our lived experience also. And therefore, the history which is connected and associated with that becomes the lived experience of the community also and the people also. So that is why it has to be kept alive, it has to be discussed, it has to be shared, it has to be ventilated, and some kind of catharsis should also take place in order to remove that very pain, or at least attempt to decrease that very pain. We can now therefore conclude that Beloved is the novel which redefines slave narratives, and it also tries to impose upon the reader the fact that slavery is still an ongoing condition, sometimes physically and sometimes it's only mentally, but it keeps on there. That is why the writer says that this is not a story to pass on. The words pass on, things pass on, and the time passes on. But the story of the trauma or that of the slavery, which the writer says, it will never pass on. It will be present, it will stay. However, if it's shared, talked about, discussed, defined, and redefined, the possibilities that the pain caused because of which may be reduced. So, dear students, that was all about the new slavery narrative. Beloved as a new slavery narrative. Hopefully you understood something out of this video. If so, do not fail to hit the subscribe button as well as the like button. And thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you in some next video.